question. I do like that got Kamma. No? Must put it Singlish so you can identify with it very quickly. Do you think that this particular action will lead to a karmic consequence? Very long. Very long. Huh? So I do like that got Kamma. No? Correct? So the assumption in that comment is Kamma is cause and effect. Yes? Fair conclusion? So my answer, which would have been unveiled dramatically, is not so. Okay, next question. Next assumption. Oh? Why he's so bad, but his karma so good? I love it, you know, with a Singapore audience and our Malaysian counterparts, we can do that. And you will understand, to the point. Kamma is about justice and equity. Answer? Not so. Okay? And then the next one, Ayo, must be Kamma. So, Kamma was supposed to explain misfortune or a stroke of good luck. Yes? And my reply, a little too simplistic. So right up until here, are you properly confused? Kamma is none of the above? What have I been hearing and learning all these years? Got buay liao, got some more. What other comments do you think people say when they comment about Kamma? So the first one says cause and effect. The second one says it's justice. Third one says it's about good luck. What else do you think people say? Yours is only that top 3. Next one. I die already, I can't see ma. Kamma takes effect in the next life or in future births. And the reply, not necessarily. Yeah? One final one. Really got such thing as Kamma me? How you know? And that implies you can't prove it. You cannot prove Kamma, right? Fair assumptions? Is this a reflection of what your brain kind of boil about? You know, just kind of ingredients that boil in the cauldron of your brain. Is that fair? You have any more? Okay, shall we move on? Let's talk about Kamma of this life. The whole idea of Kamma can be explained about the impact of this life and the impact of subsequent lives. So for the first part of the talk, we will be talking about the Kamma of this life. And then when we are done with this, we can go for a tea break. And then we can continue with the next life. Okay? The Pali word is put in there for impact. But I will read it out in English. It is volition, bhikkhus, that I call Kamma. For having willed, one acts by body, speech, or mind. 2 key words here. First word, volition, i.e. willed. Something that your mind has decided. It's a deliberate decision. It's a deliberate decision. You made a choice. Remember what he said, volition is Kamma. For having will, you act, you think, you speak. So anything that you have pondered about, you have reflected. Now let's talk a little about this decision for a consciously willed choice or decision chosen with intent, right? That's Kamma. How do you make decisions? Let's ask yourself this question. How do you make decisions? Why do you end up choosing this or that? Let's just reflect on this. You all make decisions, right? Earlier on, you decided whether to go out and eat or not, or you will just take whatever BF offers, right? Or you may have to choose between sitting on the floor, where you are closer to the action, or you will sit in comfort on the chair and be able to observe from afar. Yeah? You see, you make decisions. Now, what goes into the making of decisions? Depending on your character. You could be rational, pragmatic, so you weigh options logically. You think through in a very cerebral way, you think through, and then you decide. Some of you are very emotional. I cannot think so hard lah. Feel can already. I feel so, I decide. Sometimes it's a mixture, depending on the occasion. It's a mixture. Sometimes you give up and you toss a coin. Okay? You can decide alone or through consultations, or in terms of speed, some people decide very quickly. Others take forever. Others decide not to make a decision and let whatever happens, happens. Yes? Do you agree with this kind of laying down of the possible manner in which you make a decision? Yes? Who is number one? Nobody use brain. Okay, then you better put up for number two. Everybody use heart. Seriously. Huh? You know the words, huh? By head, by heart, mixture. How many of you, number one? Don't have. Number two, I don't feel right. Number three, the rest never make decisions. The rest toss a coin. Is that fair? I'm trying very valiantly to wake you up. But I think snooze is winning. Okay, I'm taking you through this because I want you to think. Let me share with you my observations about how decisions are made, okay? You assess a situation, you collect information, you make assumptions, you have your biases, you form opinions, you weigh options and calculate costs and benefits, and so on. This is not the end. Is it correct or not? In any decision that you make, we're not just talking about the more complex one. What do I do? He has proposed. Those are the ones that happen once or twice in your life. If it happens on every weekend, you have a problem. But it's the one that happens every weekend, every day. Should I do this or should I do that? Do I wear this or do I wear that? The kind of pondering, right? Is this how your mind typically, is this kind of a process? I want to point you out to your mental process before you decide. Remember what the Buddha said? Having will, volition. Volition is Kamma. For having will, you act. And you look at this. By the time you make a decision, you would have done so many things in your mind. Okay, this is really... The volition thus impact and shape the conditions of the mind structurally, organically, chemically, psychologically. What does it mean? By the time you get to the point when you say, I will take the bus, actually your mind has already pondered the issues for a while, isn't it? No? So the Kamma of this life, every new decision, choice has impact on the Kamma, on the brain, sorry. Every thought, every word, every action will impact the brain. Every time you think negatively, it leaves behind a chemical imprint. Every time you ponder something, it would have created a neural pathway. And the more you think about something, the greater the impact. You do it often enough, you are stuck with a habit because your brain has developed an AYE. Ayer Raja Expressway. Or PIA or KPY, leave it to you. The point here is, why is volition Kamma? You must always remember that Buddha said volition is Kamma. The reason why volition is Kamma is because by the time you decide on something, your brain has already structurally grew the pathway. And if it's something very negative, you would have generated a lot of cortisol, amongst other chemicals. I'm not a chemist. If you were thinking kindly, in the Brahma Viharic way, Brahma Vihara, okay? With metta, with compassion, with some equanimity and with empathy, then the brain would have been swimming in oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin, so many lovely, lovely words. The brain would have been marinating in the kind of chemicals that gives it a certain lightness, joy. If you think negatively, why he does that again? Really, some people never learn. You talk like that, all the chemicals that you are generating by continuing that kind of a conversation in the brain will boil your brain. So the Buddha wasn't wrong when he said, having will, you kena. Not Kamma, you kena. You see? And today, it is the science that the scientists, the psychologists using their MRI are beginning to prove this. It's not something the Buddha said. You can take it on faith or you can take it under advisement if you think that's all the Buddha said. But the science is beginning to prove him right on this score. Then I make this point. Volition is also hemmed in by the conditions of your mind. The education, the social environment, your habits, your likes, dislikes, the sum of your life's experiences. Why do I say that? Whether or not you choose one way or the other, to some extent, it is because of a memory of a previous decision like this. Yes? I choose to take the bus because the last time I took the bus, I had a wonderful time, I saved money, and so on and so forth. I choose to go to this place to eat because the last time I ate here, we had wonderful service and the food was great. You see what I'm saying? It's past experience. Then I said education. Well, depending on the books you read. Depending on the books you read, depending on the people that you associate with, and so on and so forth. They all have an impact. They leave an imprint on your mind. So this is the Kamma of this life. Not finished yet. Still got plenty more to go. I mentioned this earlier. The signs are only beginning to show. Okay. This is from a sutta. Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta 135 Majjhima Nikaya. Have you seen this phrase before? If you do chanting at certain temples, certain monastery, they will have this chant. Beings are owner of their actions, heir of their actions, originate from their actions, born to their actions, have their actions as refuge. Have you chanted this before? It's an inaudible reply. You have seen this before, right? Okay, now I'm going to break this down for you. Owner of that action, choices, volition, shape the mind. I told you earlier, when you think about something, you ruminate about it, you go on around it. It affects your mind, your brain structurally. It affects the chemical state of the mind. You decide, you determine, you are in control, you're the boss. You decide what you want to do. You make the choice. You can choose to be angry, or you can choose not to react. You can choose to reply to an angry word with one as colorful as that on your own. Or you can choose to keep quiet and walk away. Yes? Somebody forces it on you, it is his fault. It is his fault. It sounds like a kid, right? Got push me first. So once you do, push him back. You can make the choice. So in that sense, you are the owner of your actions. You make the choice. Fair point? Okay, let's go on. As of your action. Once you have decided, it leaves an imprint on the mind, an impact on the mind. How you think, what you think, the decisions you make shape the neural pathways and affect the chemical conditions. Once that happens, you will inherit the consequences of your thought processes. The moment the angry chemicals come out, the chemicals that make you stressed, very stressed, the moment those chemicals come up, what happened to your mind? You are then marinating in stress hormones. The moment you give something, you do dana, enjoy. The joy arises, the next condition state, the joy will continue. The chemicals are there. So the moment you have made your choice, it will live the conditional state in your mind. That is why once you get angry, the anger lingers on. You continue talking in that wonderful way that led to the anger, you will continue stewing. See the word, the English word is so beautiful. You stew in your own juice. See what? English words, you know. But you think about it, isn't that true? The moment you quarrel, and then you remember the thought that led to the arising of your anger, then you hold on to that thought. This is what the Cantonese call 自己攞嚟衰. You hold on to the thoughts, then every day, 3 times a day, you dredge it out and so angry, I'm so angry. Seriously? They took a gun to your head and say, think about this. They don't. You do it yourself. You do it to yourself. You had a choice and you dredge it up. Once you dredge it up, you inherit the consequences. Can you see that? This is not past life karma. This is this life karma. Your Lord Lai Soi is this life, not from the past. Nobody sent a boomerang from the past to tell you, get angry leh. Nobody. And those are the ones that hit us the entire day. If you think about it, right, here you are afraid of the boomerang from the past. What's going to happen to me? What's the bus karma that comes to me? Really, those will come once in the blue moon. And sometimes blue moon come also, they don't come. But the ones that come at you 24/7, living aside 7 hours, you must sleep 7 hours so the brain can rest, okay? Putting aside 7 hours, you have 14, right? Eek. Bad mathematics. 14, right? Oops. I was testing you, you know. So living aside 17 hours. 17 hours, don't you think this kind of decisions and that kind of impact more likely to hit you in that 17 hours than the arrow from the past. Okay? Not done yet. We are still at number 2. Originate from their actions. Past experiences, past decisions, past habits all affect the now neural pathways and chemical state. The now, what you are now, that shape of the brain and the chemical conditions, the state, that was the result of past actions, and it shaped the now. And from here is the lens you look through to assess the world around you. It's the lens through which you see the world, your mental framework start point. You don't believe? Okay. Many of you came for this morning talk. Right? And then, because you were diligently listening, you remember a substantial part of the talk. I am self-deluded. Yeah. But you remember many parts of the talk, yes? Now you tell me, it doesn't impact your action. Does it? From the talk onwards, you have a new angle of looking at things. Did it affect a little bit? A little bit? It does. It will. It will. So every moment you are gathering material, some of the materials made so much impact, they stick with you. The next time you have to make a decision, inevitably or inadvertently, these little voices seeps through, and then that's the angle you look at the world. So for instance, I'll give you another example. You are always a very simple, easygoing. Some would say you are gullible. I don't say you are gullible. I say you are a nice, kind, gentle, simple person. Simple. Then someone said to you, someone you trust, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, someone close to you said to you this. You're so gullible, eh? Okay? So it makes an impact. So next time someone comes to you and say, could you do us a favor? And you're so gullible, eh? No. Tell me what? Tell me the details. You see what I'm saying? If that voice had never come and shaped your lens, that won't be your new start point. You will continue on your merry old soul. Your merry old ways. But because there is now that new voice that shapes your mental framework, your lens, and because of that, you now have a new consideration. Okay? I cannot be gullible. I should not be taken advantage of. Let's not be so stupid because they all laugh at me. But this become your new start point. Over 1 week, over 2 weeks, by the 3rd week, you keep doing like this, there is a new you. It's called the not so gullible you. You see that? That's it. You got shaped, reshaped. So you originate from your actions. Originate from your Kamma, actually. The word Kamma, the word action, you just replace it with the word Kamma. It's a better word. Okay? Can you see that? The impact, your new start point. And every single material information that you adopt and consider that gospel. If you do that, your start point will keep shifting. Okay? That is why some people will say after a while, I'm very confused. But I'm not supposed to do this, and I'm not supposed to do that, and not this and that, and in the end, I'm not sure what I should do. Yes? Is this familiar to you? Of course, not familiar to you. You're not like that. Someone else you know is like that. Huh? Yes? Because everybody around them talk too much, lor. And then whatever thing that people talk about, they like. They embrace. You embrace too many conflicting advice, you will end up conflicted. Up blur. Okay? Next. Born to their actions. Hard to break out of past habits. You entrench them well enough, they become instincts. Therefore, fettered and locked. You ask yourself, how many times you try not to behave in a certain way ever since you became a Buddhist and a member of BF. And you're surrounded by Kalyana Mita of the first order. And everyone is inspiring everyone else to do the right thing. But you still lose temper. Don't know why. Do it often enough, I know why. You have to break the habit. And then comes this one, because you break the habit. It can happen. This is what the Buddha said. Possible to change. If you can understand the mind's nature and operating system, you can overcome habits and tame the mind. You can bring the mind under control. Because of this possibility, the mind, Kamma is a source of sanctuary. If your mind cannot change, if there is an essence in you deeper than the tallest tree in the world, if it's so deep-rooted, so entrenched, no way you can change because you are you. Then die liao lah. Born like that, die like that. But in the Buddha's Dhamma, the mind is pliable. The mind can change. And it can change in ways that are so impactful. You look into the mirror and you see, this is not advertisement. You look into the mirror and you see the new you. About 3 weeks later. Persistent discipline. Over time, it can change. Yes? Wow! Thank you for the overwhelming faith. When I say yes, your correct reply should be yes. It is important to believe it. If you said, I believe in the Buddha and I have faith in the Dhamma, this is a 3-line words. 3 lines. If you internalize these 3 lines and make it a wise saying in life, something to reflect upon in life, you will find yourself slowly transforming. I will use the word transforming because it's an evolutionary process and it takes time. That is why the Buddha always said his Dhamma takes time. Gradated practice takes time. Now, having said this, now this is not in the lecture notes. I will just insert this point because it came out. Having said this, a critical point here, it's not in the lecture notes, so you don't wait to take picture. A critical point here is the concept of anatta, substancelessness. It's the concept of anatta. The word anatta, you know, soullessness, substancelessness. That word is intimately tied to the word Kamma. Intimately, tightly intertwined. It's because you are anatta that Kamma can change you. If you were atta, then sayonara, nothing can do. anything. You're fixed. You're born fixed. You will die fixed. But because you're anatta, Buddha said, we are anatta. It's because you are anatta, what you believe to be your core personality, that is the result of all the choices you have made in the past. And your belief system, which have been shaped by teachings of the past. And after a while, old habits became hard to break. But if you believe in anatta, you believe in the Buddha, you say you have faith, you believe the Buddha, then you must believe that applying his teaching, putting them into work in daily life is a way of fixing the mind gradually, slowly, but it will happen. What do you need? Proof that appears in 24 hours? Buddha said, got money back. I want proof. No. But you will see, if you watch your mind very carefully, you will notice that if you sustain something, over a period it will change. In fact, today, the neuroscientists are saying, the reason why I kept saying 21 days, 22 days, is because the neuroscientists are the ones saying that it takes 22 days for the brain to start rewiring. And once the rewiring starts, you will begin to feel the change. Someone said if you have a depressed, I think it's a neuropsychologist, he said my problem is I don't remember his name, but never mind, we will look for it. What he said was, if you're depressed, if you have a problem with depression, every day write 3 reasons to be grateful for. Don't be lazy, I have new ones. And it can be simple one. I'm grateful for coffee. Very simple. Tomorrow, I'm grateful for char kway teow. Very simple. Okay, simple things. Grateful. Basically, you're teaching your mind to see something happy in life. 3 weeks, he said. Their studies have shown about 3 weeks. And you begin to feel the effects of your dedicated, disciplined practice. And what did the Buddha teach in the Dhamma? Same thing. Katanutta, gratitude. Look for something to be grateful about. Mangala Sutta, what's it about? It's about being grateful, being thankful for the things that you have. And as you reflect on these things that you already have, you begin to see the positive in life and not constantly worry or pick on the perceived negative. Because the perceived negative, for the typical Singaporean, the perceived negative should be less than the positive. But because you have become so clued in on the negative, the mind is distracted, it's completely focused on the negative, it doesn't see the positive. You have to rewire it. And rewiring, if you don't believe in Buddha but you believe in science, because you see doctor take antibiotics, right? You believe in science, then believe them. They say it will work, it will change. Right at this moment, already many neural pathways shifting. Imprinted for longer enough, it will shift even more. And one day, you don't recognize yourself in the mirror. Okay, that's scary. Okay, see this? Owner, decide, determine, and control. You inherit the consequence. Basically, you will carry the neural pathways and the chemicals of the brain. That's the effects that you will feel. That's the original pathway, original lens, the start point lens. Fettered, but there's a way out. Okay? This is actually a summary of what was said earlier. Can I move on? Somebody say wait?
Yes.
Okay. I like this one. I really like this. Kamma is not a boomerang or gift from the past. It is very much work in progress in this life. Okay? I'm waiting for the hands to drop down. To sum up on Kamma of this life, Kamma is not causal, but conditions. And these are the conditions. Kusala and akusala choices. Kusala, translated often as wholesome, but I like the translation done by Banteji. He calls it skillful. It is always, always easier to just give in to your instincts. You want to scold, the words come out. Huh? That's easy. If you want to scold, but you say, Lun, practice, let go, then you must swallow the words harder. Isn't it? So more skillful to be able to overcome arising negative mental states. More skillful. And every time you successfully overcome a negative mental state, every time you successfully do it, what must you do? What must you do when you successfully tahan the negativities? What must you do? Pat yourself on the back. Pat, okay? Why? Because you're human. Human needs encouragement. If you're not getting it from the people around you, do it for yourself. That's cheap. Then some of you so clever will say, yeah, but then that one prideful. Sudah lah, just pat lah. Don't think so much. When you think so much, you run into trouble. Okay? Feelings and desires. How do they shape your mind? How many times you make a decision based on feeling? I don't like him, I'm not sitting next to him. How many times? The feelings drive you. How many times does it take? Would you find yourself in a situation where you must do it because you like it, you enjoy it, you must have it, you want it? How many times do you find yourself doing that? And then when you struggle, and this is the part that I must point out to you, you decide that you will not do certain things because they're akusala, but your mind keeps pulling you. And then you spend all your time scolding yourself. Ayyo, what kind of bad mind, bad mind, bad. Ooh, bad. After that, you could be very demoralized. I'm a hopeless practitioner. I'm so bad. Then you can't meditate. You can't read the Dhamma because you are so remorseful. So what do? Go before the Buddha, Rupa, if you have one, bow and let go. Ask for forgiveness. That's the reason for your chanting that has a phrase that says, before you, Buddha, I seek forgiveness. Let it be. Let the past go. Or you happily just say the words, mouth the words, because I like the chanting, but then that's about it. No, do it with wisdom. Don't think too much, don't think too hard. Because every time you illuminate, you reflect, you ponder, you marinate. I love that word, marinate. You soak. Every time you do that, the karmic imprint gets deeper. It gets deeper and deeper. When you are supposed to take a cloth and wipe it off, you went to put more on it. Okay, anyhow, the rest goes things that you pay attention to. Why do I use this one? Things that we pay attention to leave a karmic imprint. Let me ask you, my question is very easy one. Very easy. Too difficult, everybody walks out. So, let me ask you this. Not a trick question, so must answer. Okay? Now is 2:45. Okay? From the point you wake up until now, 2:45, what are the things you remember? How many things do you remember well? And how many things do you think you've forgotten? Not the numbers, but the fraction, the percentage. Would you say I have forgotten 80%, I remember 20%? or 50%, or I actually photographic memory, right from the single tooth I start brushing to now. What would you say, how much percentage is left in the mind? 20%? Okay, 20% left in the mind. Okay. How many more? Ballpark figure also cannot give. Roughly lah, doesn't matter what. I'm not marking you. Who says 100% I remember? Nobody. Who says 100% I've forgotten? So in between must be one number. Okay, who say about 80% I remember? Wow, well done. How many? You're sati the strong. Who say 50-50? 50% I remember, 50% gone with the wind. 50-50, okay. Who say about 20% I remember, everything else no more? All right. And who say 10% left? 10%. You better hope the 10% is the Dhamma talk this morning. Who say about 10% Dhamma talk left? Those, the things that you remember, the things that you remember, they are the ones that can still come up subsequently. All the rest that you have forgotten, by tonight, you go to bed, the cleaning crew will come and get rid of everything. This is not a joke. I'm not kidding. I read science a lot. There is a study that showed that if you do not spend time refreshing your memory on certain things, the cleaning crew at night, when you sleep, the cleaning crew in the brain will come and erase everything that you say you don't want to remember. Everything that you don't want to remember, they will come and they will press the button, and then everything, and then that's it. They got rid of the data bytes, the byte space, for tomorrow's activities. Interesting, isn't it? That's how the brain works. That's so interesting. So, what's the moral of the story? Don't think of the past hurt. Better to reflect on the Dhamma. So that when the cleaning crew comes at night, it's not the Dhamma that got purged. Get it? How scary is it? Everything you learn today, tomorrow must watch YouTube. Because nothing left, got nothing left. And you want your mind to be a nice, clean place. Because you got to live with it. If your mind is messy, you got to live with it, isn't it? Okay. People we associate with, quite obviously, isn't it? The odds are people make a deeper impression than Dhamma. Dhamma knowledge. Dhamma experience and Dhamma seeing is a different story. Those make an imprint so deep you can carry between lives. But Dhamma concepts, when they are only concepts, like Da means what, Ma means what, Dhamma means what, you know, that kind of concepts, right? That you will not remember very well. And those are the ones you will forget. But the people, the fella meet you once, all he has to do is to say, you wear like that, ah? That's it. You will remember. That simple phrase, you wear like that, ah? It's seared into the memory. Why? What's wrong? Why? Hey, come back. Say some more. You are a sucker for punishment, I tell you. People you will remember. You look at the word I say, experiences we own. Why do I say experiences we own instead of experiences? Because you have 1,000 experiences today. The one you choose to remember, they are the ones you own. When you drink coffee, you don't really care, right? Except when people take your coffee, then you care. But the experience of drinking coffee, you don't really care. So you don't remember. What brand? I don't know. Something like that. But the one that you own, the fights that you have, the sweet talks which you had, those are the ones you remember. Because it gives oomph to the I. The ones you own are the ones that gives a meaning to the I. And those are the ones you remember. Thoughts we revisit. Again and again you revisit, the more impactful it becomes. And so on. There are others. You are who and what you make yourself to be. Sombering. What you choose to call yourself, what you choose to be, because you call yourself, you label yourself. And then that becomes the image you own and defend to the death. Quite drama, one. Why am I making it so drama? When you laugh, you will remember. Okay? So it's not because I'm just corny. It's because when you laugh, you will remember. Okay. Now, this is a separate part of the talk already. Oh, maybe we should take a break first, huh? You want a break? Okay, we take a 10 minutes break, and then we come back for more.